tere kõigile, mina olen Andrei Zevakin ja te kuulate 01 podcasti, kus me räägime inimestega, kes on teinud nullist ühe. Ma pean väikse switchi tegema inglise keelde, sest minu külaline täna tuleb kaugelt Austraaliast. Hi, Louis.
Hey, guy. How you doing?
Are you all right?
Hi. I'm good. I'm having a good day. It's beautiful weather outside.
Yeah, brilliant.
Snows. Nothing can be wrong today. It's awesome.
True. Funny fact, like, I think this is the first time I'm speaking actually one-on-one with an Australian. Like,
okay.
I think I've spoken to people from New Zealand, but it's not the same, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. I've spoken to a lot of Latvians, so don't worry about it, man. It's fine.
Yeah, it was really funny. Like I studied in England 3-4 years ago, and it was like everyone's calling names from people from New Zealand. They're like, "Oh, you Kiwi, you Kiwi." Yeah. Just making fun of them. But anyways, first of all, thanks for being here.
No problems.
Thanks for responding so quickly. I think you sent you an email on Wednesday or something.
Isn't it always weird when someone responds really quickly? Yeah. Like, that person's not really a celebrity. They got nothing else to do but come on your fucking podcast.
But I mean, it's so send you an email on Wednesday. I think you responded 5 minutes and
Oh, dude, I'm kicking ass. I am kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah.
I don't fuck around. We're doing a lot of work. So if you're talking to me middle of the day and there's nothing too hard in your email, here's a big decision you need to make, I'll probably respond pretty fast.
I mean, that's incredible because not mentioning any names, some people don't even respond. So anyways, the reason I wanted to have you on the podcast is because I used to go to your shows like Comedy Estonia, which we'll talk about later. In 2015, something like that, I used to go to the shows, funny as fuck. I really enjoyed the shows. Back then, I think, but still, it was pretty popular that back then already. Right now, you've obviously done such a great job with Comedy Estonia. People know about it.
It's going well.
It's going really well. I've seen a lot of in social media and stuff like that. You're killing it, really. But even back then, I'm not gonna lie. When you went to the show, it was if you were late, you fucked up. I mean, you had to go. You had to sit in the front chairs, and it's this is the worst possible position you could.
We're trying to send you a message. You got to show up on time. We got a show to do. I got stuff happening. I got comedians that need to get put on.
Yeah, especially on a comedy night as well. I mean, if you sit in front of the chair, you're gonna get abused by the comedian. I mean. But that's not the thing. I mean, you were you came on, and I remember that really, really precisely. You were doing such a great job, and I was thinking to myself, wow, I mean, he's a great host. He surely knows what he's doing. It's really hard, being a host. You come there, it's people expect to be entertained. They want to be
as you tend to do as a stand-up comedy show, right?
Exactly. You expect to be, you're gonna laugh,
Sure.
And you as a host come in there the first person, you're gonna go warm up, you just gonna lead the right person to the audience. I mean, that's an incredibly hard job to do, in my opinion, and that's why I kind of really respect you for that, especially you come in from another country.
Thanks, to
Estonia as well, doing such a great job here. So yeah, massive respect for you towards that. But for the people who have never been to Comedy Estonia, tell them, who is Louis Zezeraniga?
All right. So Comedy Estonia is a group of stand-up comedians. We started 8 years ago. I don't remember, something like this. And back then there was no really stand-up comedy. It wasn't really defined in the format that it is now. And we're a group, and now we've just doing show after show, building up. And now we are both, we run events, so we promote events, and we're putting on nights and making that happen. Yeah. And we're also a talent management agency. So we're looking after our artists, growing their careers, not just selling a show, but what do you want to do in 6 months? What do you want to do in a year? Cool, you want to do that? Here's how we're gonna get to that goal for you. So event management and talent management is what we realize internally what we do. And when we understand that they're actually two quite separate jobs, this has helped us a lot, and now we're moving forward. So we do comedy shows, and people have been very nice and coming to our stuff all the time.
But you come, just stop really quickly about you come from Australia. How'd you end up here?
Sure.
What brought you to Estonia?
Yeah, so I was in 2006. My friends and I went on Euro trip 2006. We didn't know what was up. We came to Europe. These Australian three backpacker guys. Yeah. But I was 26, so we'd had a
How
little.
old did you know?
38.
Oh shit.
38.
No, but honestly, I wouldn't tell you it was like 38. Like I would say like 30 max.
I know my immaturity is very, very high. So we already, because we were 26, we had like a little bit of money behind us. So we bought like an old shitbox old Volvo in Sweden. We drove it all around Europe, had a great time.
Yeah.
And somehow I went to Estonia, and that's a long story, but I just kept coming back. And the coming back option was, I bought a laptop at Audi, and I bought the laptop from Audi in Tartu, and because I need a laptop in 2006. And I remember going, well, I'm a traveler. I don't have nothing. I can't download anything. So I went to Audi. I'm like, I need the laptop, and I need a copy of Windows. Yeah. And they went, what? Buy it? What? And the dude was like going through a drawer, and he's like, oh yeah, you can buy this one if you want. And I went, all right.
Yeah.
And that was 2006. And then I broke it, and I had to keep coming back. Long story. And it just developed this relationship with Estonia that I had. And I kind of knew that I liked being here, but I didn't know what my purpose was yet.
Yeah.
And the reason that I think I've done pretty well in Estonia is that I lived 2 years in Sweden, had a Swedish girlfriend, and I flaked out of that. I just did not fit into Swedish society at all. And then I lived for a year in Finland, and it was all right, but I was, so while I think I've done pretty well here, I did fuck it up 2 times in 2 other countries already to learn how do you integrate, how do you get into it, how do you build a life for yourself. And it was the purpose. And I was like, I like that place, but I don't know what I'm doing there. And then the comedy thing kind of grew up, and I was like, this is a thing. We can, it was like, we can just do it at least. It's not like, oh my God, it's going to be huge and we're going to have Jimmy Carr. It's going to be amazing. No, it's just, you just start doing shows.
Yeah.
So, but I also knew I have a background in computer science.
Yeah.
So I have a master's of computer science from there. Yeah. I've done a lot of IT consulting. I worked on this fucking X-road system we have in Estonia. Oh my God. But I knew I didn't want to do that anymore. And that's also what's driven me, that I did it and I was like good at it, but I knew it wasn't my thing. And I still spent a few years in the middle kind of wandering the earth. And that included these years in Sweden and Finland. And then eventually I was like, comedy, Estonia, bam, let's do it.
Yeah, but like, you came here, were you like a comedian before that, or you just,
No, not really. In Australia, I had done, so the year before I came, in 2005, I quit my job doing IT, and I had just signed up to just help like student theatre. At the local at the university, was down the street, and there was a theater group, and I was like, these guys are interesting. And I started to help out. I've never been to a theater. There was not so much as a piece of artwork in my household. I love my parents, but I wouldn't say they're artistic people in any way. So I had quit my job, and I'd started to be involved in theater, having no artistic background. And these people were amazing. They're over the moon. They're like, I'm an actor. I'm doing this. I'm emotional. And I do this. And they had these crazy ways. But I found what I could give them was a structure. I was like, all right, I'm a project manager. And then I worked out that managing a theater show was not that different to managing an IT project. There's some budget, there's some tasks, that's fine.
I mean, the fundamentals
are the same.
Same.
I just stepped in, I gave them the most basic structure, and things ran well. And they were able to show me about art and show me what it's like to be this whole other side of life. And that's what started it, I think. And when I was in Sweden, I'd run a comedy night. And I'd run my very first comedy night on my own. And also I'd had a bit of a bad experience. I had a partner, and he wasn't a very nice guy. But through that bad experience of running a comedy show in Sweden with a bad partner, I realized how I wanted our group to be. So by being fucked over initially by someone else, I realized, the values and the way that I want in our own group. Yeah. And that's sort of what set us on this path.
Especially like when you make these kind of mistakes, like in the beginning, it's a lot easier, like, when you come back here in Estonia, you know what to do already, like, because you already fucked up. But like afterwards, you can, you can grow your success.
You need that as much as there are, some people in your life that you might think, that person was a fucking dick, or they didn't work out, or they were difficult. Like, there is often, it's so hard to admit, like, that person fucked me over, but the lesson from it was so good. Do I think that was still a good experience somehow? I don't know, but I think we've all had those in our lives.
Yeah, but I've got to ask, like, very interesting, like, change of career path. Like you're going from computer science degree from a comedian. Like, what your parents say to that?
I'd long ago stopped listening to them. In any way whatsoever. And bless them, they weren't also trying to tell me anything either. I was already over here, so I was in Europe by this stage. So I'm
just
They know nothing about what's kind of what I would tell them and so forth. So I think they first came. They've been to Estonia a few times. They're coming in summer again.
Yeah.
A week in Tallinn. What the fuck are my parents going to do for me? If you want to help, if you want to look after my parents or something for a week, it's happening in June. You give me a call. I think it was they saw one of the shows we did at Kino Supras back in the day, the Lewis and Stewart shows. I forget who were on with then.
Yeah.
And when they saw that, I think they got it. They didn't know what this thing was, but then they saw the whole operation happening and they're like, all right, this is fine.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it's great to have, like, if the parents see you're actually succeeding in the thing you do, they are supportive because like loads of like parents as well who are like, oh yeah, no, I want you to do that. And eventually like people start listening to the parents. Like, I mean, They know nothing better, and that's why like loads of my age people like
I think that's why one of the reasons I like Estonia is because I don't have any of that social pressure on me. So men in Estonia have even less social pressure. I'm a foreign man.
Yeah.
I'm single. I'm 38. I'm a foreign man. I have no social pressure. No one's telling me to do nothing. And I actually really like that. In Australia, I think there's a lot of social pressure to do that. Maybe just in your own culture, that's always going to be go to the school, get the education, go to the university, get the job, get the career, get the mortgage, keep on going from there. And I could never accept it. I tried and it wasn't working. So I enjoy being away from that, and I can just set my own rules for everything.
So, you started your, like, this theatre group in Australia, and you came here backpacking and stuff. Like, when did you decide, like, oh shit, that comedian thing and that kind of management thing is like, this game, I'm good at it. And, when did you decide that, I'm going to, like, go all in?
I think in that I had already given up IT by this stage. So I was living in Stockholm and I was like, I'm really bored. I've got this job teaching IT stuff like 2 weeks a month. I'm getting enough money to live, which is fine, but I've got 2 weeks, I'm sitting around my bum doing nothing and I'm going nuts. So I started to do stand-up comedy. I saw there was a lot of open mics in Stockholm and I was like, yeah, this is cool. And when does it... And then, okay, so the story then goes that Erik Sufert contacted me. He was an American who was living here in Tartu.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I see you've got this connection to Estonia, online, your blog, you do a bit of comedy, what's up? Yeah. And we started to talk and I was like, well, no one's doing a comedy show. Let's why don't we just fucking do a show?
Yeah.
And he was like, I got these two buddies, Andre Tuch, Stuart Johnson. Why don't I invite them? We'll do that.
Yeah, I remember those
guys.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, I've been living in Sweden. I know a few headliners. I got a buddy who'll come over for cheap. If we suck, it doesn't matter. We got a guy who'll finish the show. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then we're like, all right, let's do a show then. And you do one and you do the next one. And I think it was through that organic process. It was through the organic process of it and that I was here with nothing to do, like nothing else. And maybe in some subconscious level, I was like, this is, all right, I like this. I'm going to do it. Because I'd had those years of going, this sucks. I don't know what my purpose is.
You didn't really have anything to lose as well because, like,
Sure, what does it matter? You can always go back and do that. And this is that other thing about life's lessons. Do I regret spending up to 25 years having done IT? Such a hard one to say, right?
Yeah.
Because could I, what if I was Daniel Weinbergs and I was starting when I was a comedian when I was 17? How fucking good would I be 20 years later? Oh, God. But on the other hand, that IT degree gave me the money to start this, I got the life experience as ready. And even today, like my job for the last few months at Comedy Estonia is I'm focusing on growing us as a company, our internal systems.
Yeah.
So I've got to do business work. I got to put in a CRM. We're using Pipedrive. Wow. All this software, right? I'm redoing our website. I can do all of that. There's a lot of shit which is so much easier when you're technically minded. Working at a sound desk, working out how that software works. I've got some insight into that. So I can never truly say, oh, that was wasted time.
Yeah. I mean, like, especially like nowadays, because like, you know, my age people are going like, oh, I'm 20, I'm not earning like money, like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, you know. We're living in this kind of world where you know, like, you see on Instagram, you scroll on Instagram and you see that, oh, all these rich kids, and you just start, you start, you know, jealousy comes in, like, and you just feel like you're a failure, you know. But like at the same time, you should like think that, you know, let's say you're 20 years old and you've got so much time. You know, you're 38 and you still have so much time. I mean, you don't have to rush anything. I mean, if you're 20, you just go out and, you know, do things.
Yeah, I would say that do things. Just don't do nothing.
Yeah.
Just do something, whatever it is. Do you like it? Just go for it. That the worst is just doing something you don't like or you don't want. I mean, you can do a job though. If you are doing something you don't love, or you're like, oh, it's okay. Like, I mean, the classic is I'm just going to do this degree, I'm going to get this job and so forth, right? Yeah. That might be fine. Maybe that job isn't your passion, but then it's like, well, I'm maybe what I really want is a family and a wife, and then I'm going to have kids. And if that's my super goal in life, then I don't mind. Yeah. I've got that accounting job.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're doing something boring, but there's still got to be this fundamental thing that you want from your life.
Yeah, I mean, these kind of like degrees and stuff, I mean, they're going to help out eventually. But like, if you know, you doing your comedy thing, I'm doing my music thing, you know, we know that, you know, this is our passion, you know, like, and we're going to go far with it and we're never going to get bored. This doesn't feel like a job to us, you know? So yeah, I mean, do things and eventually, I promise you, you're gonna find the thing.
Eventually. And look, it's tough. It's so easy just to go, well, you just gotta find your thing. Just start doing it. It doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. Like, no, it was, well, I mean, I didn't discover comedy until I was 30. Yeah. So you may change. I just didn't know it existed. I didn't know that was a thing that I can do. I didn't know that was in my world. Maybe the world changed around us and we didn't, I don't know, now it's the gig economy. Now everything's changed. We can, we're not so tied into I need to have this job for life and this one career for life. So maybe the flip side of seeing every Instagram kid is that society has actually changed to allow us to do these sort of things.
Yeah. So basically, you came to Estonia. You started Comedy Estonia in 2010. Yeah.
Yep.
So how did that process like go by? I mean, you couple of guys, you know, got together and you started thinking that, oh, let's do that. And how was the process, you know, from 2010 to like now? Like how did it start out and like what was the process towards now?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, because at first it's so organic. We're just coming together doing these shows, and I had some background in marketing. True, my how can we make it personal? How are we getting these people in? I wish I had a more succinct, better answer for you than we just started to do it. Yeah. Like I just started to arrange the shows the best I had, hustle the best I can, put on the next date, and balance trying to learn lessons without taking too much risk at once. Is always a big thing, I think. So I want to learn. We'll do an experiment. Like I love experimenting. I love new things. And mostly our shit doesn't fuck up too bad. It's all right.
Yeah.
But how to not bite off more than you can chew, when to know when to back out. Like we did a few months and then we were like, let's do a show in Pärnu. All right, well, it's just an hour away from Tallinn, hour and a half. It'll be fine. Yeah. And we got this hard lesson straight up. It doesn't matter. No one knows it's there. It doesn't matter. It's an hour and a half away. Like at that stage back then, we had no exposure. Yeah. Couldn't get a venue. Didn't know what we want. People had not heard of Comedy Estonia. And we actually had set a date, had it on sale. And then I think we hadn't had it on sale, but we still canceled it. Like trying to learn our lesson without failing too badly was always in my mind from the beginning.
Yeah, but what was some like challenges? Like, you know, you were like, you know, you start out Comedy Estonia, like what were some challenges, you know, like it's a business still. Like, I mean, you didn't start, you said you start out like organically, but it's still kind of business after all. What were some of the challenges you faced during that, starting time?
I think when you've got a group of people who just come together to do something, there's no structure to that, not organically. So those people need to work out their own structure between them. Like, okay, I'm and to say like, and I will say this because I'm the leader, that the leader isn't taking over. The leader is like, well, every ship needs a captain. Every group needs a leader. That doesn't mean they're the most biggest or best or something like that. That just means they're the best at leading. That doesn't mean they're the best at all the other things. So defining who we are in the group took a while. What our roles are and how do we play.
Does that thing, like, do you have to do that like from the beginning, or like you just, the time will tell, like who's the leader? What do you think? Like, if say a group starts, their own kind of thing, do they have to like decide who's the leader, who's doing this, who's doing that, or just everyone does that, whatever they want?
I think what you've just described sounds like every university project that's ever been done. And this is why I hate university. Like, my friends tell me, we got this group project. We've all been there, right? Yeah. 4 of us, one person never showed up. One person was doing all the work, the other 2, right? And they're like, well, you've got to work in a group because that's what the real world is like. The real world is not like that. If you work in a company or an organization, you have a structure. Yeah. There's already some idea of who you are. You are not 4 random people coming together. I'm talking about doing the work, right? And how do you know when to fully give yourself to that project? Yeah. And how do you know that, is that going to be a good thing, or when do you take that step? Do the best that you can to mitigate, like, you got to live. How am I going to have rent? If you're a young person and you're like, I want to do that, whatever that thing is, but I'm worried it's not a constant stream. How am I going to do it? Of course, you don't have a plan. You've just thought of that idea. Of course, you don't have a business plan for it. You got to do the best things you can. Like, you still got to pay rent. You're still going to have to eat. Maybe you can pull all those expenses down somehow. Get rid of, I don't know, if you got a car or something, get rid of it. Who knows? Pull those expenses down and jump in. And I would say that there's a point where you've got to just jump in and just do it. Just do it. Just try. And that's why for us, like, several of our comedians live off the money that they make from Comedy Estonia. Now, that doesn't mean they're living rich. Like, it's right on the border. Yeah. Because part of what you do with talent management is what you want to do is get an artist to the level that they can just live off that. Because once that happens, there's a huge relief. Like, if you got to do your music production, but you still got to go work, like, let's say even 5 hours, 8 hours a day, this is a context switching, all that stuff. But if I can get my artist to the level that he can just live from it, then he doesn't have to worry about anything else. He can just focus on writing jokes and the comedy. And that's a nice thing about Estonia, that if you are a young person and you are dedicated to what you want to do, and you're like super motivated about it, you can live pretty cheaply still, right? You can find a way, you can do that. It's still possible. So a few of the guys have just got themselves up to the stage to say, I'm going to live off the 2-minute noodles. I'm going to, not have holidays and all that sort of shit, because I just want to live off the comedy.
Just, sacrificing basically.
And you sacrifice because you're thinking of that goal. Yeah. I want to be an artist, and this is how we get there. So,
especially,
jumping in.
Being an artist, like, you don't have this kind of like a path you go like with just working a regular 9 to 5 job, you just have to do it yourself, and it takes time,
It's so hard, and that's why we focus on talent management as well, because it's not the artist's job to know that necessarily, right? The artist has ideas about where they want to go with their career, or they may have very firm ideas. Yeah, I want to do this. I want to have so many specials. I want to be on this radio station. Cool. Or they may not. Yeah. And guiding them and helping them and going, here's what I think you can do in a year. And they go, oh yeah, I like that. Or they want to be like, what I actually want to do is do more radio. Cool. Okay, I'm going to help you do that. So, because art is like, I wouldn't even know, you're going to be a singer. Fuck, I wouldn't even know where to start with that. Yeah. I'd get into bars. I don't know, you get a band, you start singing any chance you get. If you want to be a painter, oh my God, I wouldn't have a clue. A writer, Jesus, I would just I mean, the first thing you would do is just write as much as possible, just paint as much, do whatever you do as much as possible. But as a career,
just become better.
It's so hard to know what that is.
Yeah. But with your, with the artists in Comedy Estonia, like, you said they got on, on the borderline where, they can live off that. But that's already like a big achievement because like from there, like there are endless possibilities. Right. Like you can obviously fall down, but like if you're there in Estonia, especially, like, I mean, everyone knows you, and like if they like you, they're going to invite you, and they're like extra money as well from there. It's just endless possibilities.
There is that. I mean, that's a small market. This touches on the idea that we have a uniquely small market here in Estonia, that it's like, I can do that. Some people said to me in the beginning of Comedy Estonia, whoever does the first thing of something in Estonia typically like dominates. I don't want to use dominate, but anyway, typically gets ahead. Yeah. And I always saw it as, okay, so the Soviet Union collapsed 25 years ago. It was New Estonia. I love those stories from oh my God, the Wild West stories from the old days. I could I could get drunk and listen to Sandra tell me those stories all night long. But it seemed to me like the dude who first brought Coca-Cola to Estonia. All right, the dude who first opened the first Toyota dealership. Yeah. At first it was like, well, we don't have Toyotas. We need Toyotas. And then all the big things. And then it became more and more obscure down the line. Then it was going to be the person who brought in, I don't know, the JBL speakers. Then it was the guy who imported GoPro. But that guy who first brought GoPro, I bet you, I don't know who the hell that is. I bet you he's doing well. Yeah. But then you start going more and more obscure. So then whatever that must have been, 20-something, 25, no, we're only 25, 17 years later, we roll along and we go, well, we're going to do comedy for the first, stand-up comedy in this form, in this style, in this particular way. And it was more and more niche, but you've got a first mover advantage, but you would be foolish to ride off that. You've got to take your first mover advantage and then pound it and then do it.
Yeah, especially like if you see some gaps in the market or something, like just really, I mean, we've been doing like all these like YouTube videos as well, like nobody has done this before, and it's like really like it's going pretty viral. Sometimes go to a club and then you're the guy who did that. Yeah, thanks, man.
It's fascinating it's how brilliant. YouTube's taking off. That it's this self-promotion platform. And in terms of the way art is, that's actually one thing we haven't done a lot of with Comedy Estonia, is being our own broadcast. Like, we've got content, but we don't do our own broadcasts because we focused on live shows. Meaning that we do live. I think we do live really well. Like, we're good at that.
I remember that was like
we're really good at that formula, and we're really good at knowing how to do that. But what we don't have right now is broadcast. So, and Ari, Matti, and Mikael have done such a great job with the Tusisoja podcast of making that, like they're getting it out. They've got their own channel. That's the last mile. And
Is that like related to Comedy Estonia, or they are just
No, it's all part of it. It's all part of what we do.
Yeah.
I encourage all of our artists to have something else besides stand up that they do, and not just because do something else, but like if you are going to be this full-time comedian, that's 8 hours a day that you got to do stuff. You ain't doing stand up. You ain't writing your jokes for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Find something else that you love doing.
Yeah.
And so I encourage them. Is it a podcast? Is it a blog? Is it writing for Ott-Erik? Whatever it is, you tell me, and together I'm going to help you do that other thing.
Yeah.
And with Tusisoja, that came from Ari and Mikael quite organically. And I'm a bit separate from that. Like, I don't know nothing about when they do the episodes. I don't release. I don't know nothing about that. Ari, Matti, and I talk all the time. I'm talking behind the scenes with them. He's telling me things. That's very interesting. I'm telling him some advice. And then I'm working on how to incorporate that into the greater Comedy Estonia whole. They want to do the live podcast. Cool. This is cool. So how can we work together to make that? So they've got their own thing, but it's still compatible with the whole of what Comedy Estonia does.
Well, this is kind of interesting. Like you said, live podcasts. I mean, there comes a point where you kind of, I don't know if that's the right word to say, like, you get tired of the things that you do. I mean, I want to like push myself,
Sure.
If I do like this new sketch or something like that, I want the other one to be like a lot better.
Okay. There's certainly that. I mean, but there's also an understanding that you will go up and down.
Yeah, true.
And that's what I've discovered after 8 years. Like, after 8, because at first with Comedy Estonia, we were like, if no one comes to this show, we're dead. No, we're going to have a night, we're going to have an open mic, and no one's going to come, and it's over. That's it. Call the movers, we're gone.
Yeah.
And now we understand things go up and down. Thankfully, nothing's that bad, right? But we know it doesn't matter. That was fine. Why was there not that many people there that night? Oh, who knows? It wasn't a payday. We hit the wrong night. There was a soccer game on at the same time.
Yeah.
Or it's just there was less people at a show, and that was even cooler because even though it was only half full, those half people really wanted to be there.
Yeah.
So sometimes the shows can be even better.
Yeah.
So that perspective to be able to see trends over time and ride them out is certainly one of the things that's changed us, to know that we'll be all right. Just keep doing this.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay. So I think I had a little moment. I'm not going to lie to you. I was smoking weed off my head and I was high out of my brain.
Yeah.
And it was when Ari-Matti and Mikael did a live, just like an hour of the Tusisoja. They were in the Geni Radio studios, and they just put the camera up, and Ari put a banner up here, and it was a handwritten sign, and they went live on the Facebook, and I don't know, it was like 100 people watching. I was like, that's 100, 100
it's
like
crazy.
100.
Yeah, it's
that's
crazy.
100 individual people
Yeah.
that watched that, and I looked at it and I was like, wait, he's got his handwritten sign, he's got his banner in the background. What is this, Talana TV? When did we go back to this? But that's because that's authentic.
Yeah.
That's organic. And I was watching them from the side, and I felt like I was watching, if you see you got your favorite TV show, and then out of the vault they bring the 15-year-old pilot version that was once on some other show, and you're like, you know what I mean? When you see that pilot of that show.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching that. I felt like I was watching my favorite TV show, but the crappy pilot, with a low production value, let's put it that way, from 15 years before. It was it was like watching Wayne's World, but the original sketches, was that SNL?
Yeah.
The original SNL sketches version. Watching something before it became big. And I was like, I was very happy that night when I just loved watching it, because that was the real deal, I felt.
Yeah.
And the fans, people seem to connect that it's not polished. They seem to get, it's weird. We want polished TV. We think Talana TV is a piece of crap because, whatever, but we're happy to take it. We're happy to take a handwritten sign from a couple of guys on a phone, right?
Crazy,
Why? How do we consume things, and what do we expect out of different people?
It's really interesting, because in Estonia, jumping back to trends and stuff like that, it's I don't know, I love Estonia because it's you can talk with your audience so easily. I mean, you can interact with them. It's it's a small country, and everyone's if you do something, they're straight up either supporting you or just hating you, whatever. But they're at least doing something. That's why I love doing my own thing, and I'm sure you love doing your own thing, because everyone's are proud of people who are courageous enough to do things.
It's such a weird balance of that in Estonia.
Yeah.
We've had recently, in the last probably month, we've had a big upswing on the number of negative comments under the videos that we post. And not negative, but people going, why do they need to swear? And, is this culture? And, what the fuck is this? And this guy, there's no jokes. This is lame. And I love it. Oh, I love it more and more, because it's never a cool dude, you dudes writing, right? It's always some weird guy from the countryside. There's this culture. And I don't mean respect to that dude, disrespect to that person. I'm not trying to go you're a piece of shit, you're terrible.
Yeah.
But so what we do, what I've been doing, is every time someone writes some shit like that, I click love on the comment.
Yeah.
And not right? Because can be whatever, right? Love is I had to press it and then move up and then across.
You saw that
I
comment.
had to specifically do that, right? Because whenever someone gives you negativity, come back with positivity.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to deal with it. And it's if you're ever in road rage, laugh at them. Oh, they can't take it. They're all oh, you cut me off and all this. Unless it's a Russian guy banging at your window because he got out of the car, right? Then not so much. But if you want to get ahead, laugh at them, because they can't. You've just diffused it, right? So that's what I'm trying to do with that. And my theory is that like if you come to our comments page and you see like someone in, I don't know, in the countryside is like, is this culture? It's like, you get it, right? You're a sharp young person. You don't go like, maybe this person in the countryside has a point about it. No, you get it. So that's why I love it. Because initially in the group we were like, well, this is a negative comment. How does this reflect on us? What does that mean? I'm like, no, own it. Go with it. Display it more. We're not, I mean, we are a little bit mocking them, but we're trying to not be like, you terrible piece of shit. It's like very subtle, very sarcastic, right? That the cool people will get it.
Yeah.
And because almost everything we try to do at Comedy Estonia, we do it because there's an intent behind it. And I don't so much care what my artists do, I care why they're doing it. So if an artist can tell me why they want to do something, I'm like, cool, we're going to do that. Now, we may not get there because they've had a big goal or they can't achieve that, but they'll get better. Like, oh, my intent as an artist is to do that. Cool. Well, you're young. You'll get better over time. Yeah. What's more important is that you know what you want out of it. Yeah. So we're very focused on small details because we love the intent behind it. And when I'm working out, so here's a difficult thing I have. I have to sort of judge Estonian language comedians when I do not understand. I mean, I understood your intro, right? Yeah. Sure, no problems. Yeah. But, you know, I don't understand the bits. I certainly don't understand the nuance and the subtle use of language or reference or something. And so you've got these young comedians that come into open mics. Let's say you're an open mic. You come along a few times, you do a bit, be like, well, Louis doesn't understand what the fuck I'm saying. How can he possibly help me? Yeah. He doesn't understand. And what I do is I'm actually quite abstract from it. I can hear them laugh. Right? I can hear the audience laugh. I hear everything else but your words. I hear your rhythm. I hear your tone. I hear your pacing. And I'm actually really good at that now, just from simple 8 years of like
just analyzing
it. Yeah, I'm not like, I'm no Sigmund Freud here. And there's been a few of our newer comedians that I have to have that moment where I'm like, I get it. Oh, I see it. I see what you're doing. Yeah. And that could come from me just working it out in their act. It can come from some of the other comedians telling me like, oh, that person's doing that. It's really cool. We respect that. And I'm like, all right, I get it. Cool. Sometimes it happens when they do an English set and I see them all of a sudden in English. I'm like, right. Yep. Okay, I've heard enough of your words that I get where you're coming from. Cool. Because when an artist is doing something with intent, I can judge them on the intent, not the outcome. So, I mean, you know, perfect example the other day, Kasper Kikkapil, new guy, he's doing funny comedy. And it wasn't until I saw him in English that I got, so he's trying to be really arrogant, right? This act, and he gets on stage with balls, right? And his whole character is that he's very arrogant, very full of himself. And the final bit for that was when I saw him in English. I'm like, yeah, I get it. So I no longer worry with that guy if he's not getting laughs or anything. What I care more is how is he building that character? How is the character may not always hit, but I'm interested in the specifics of the details of him building that because more and more he will hit. More and more it will work if he gets the intent right. So that's why I'm very focused on why. I'm always asking, why do you want to do it? Yeah. And not like, but I'm like, cool, now I know. Yeah. Now let's do it.
You know, you're talking about like these goals that you have with artists and stuff. What is the goal with like Comedy Estonia? Like, what's the final? Where do you want to end up with?
Dude,
do you know that?
I think that these are challenges that any organization faces to like, where are you going to go with this? What's up? Yeah. And I think that there is an extra challenge in Estonia that the market is so small. So if you're an artist in the UK, you're like, well, sure, I'm going to work the clubs and then I'm going to go maybe a small national tour, a few thousand tickets, this venue, that venue, then there's TV. The sky is the limit. In Estonia, oh my God. You know, like, and no disrespect, it just is what it is, right? Yeah. You can see you see the Prime Minister walking down the street, you see politics, you see no one's so exclusive, maybe Kire because she doesn't hang out here, right? No one else is that exclusive. You can't see them all the time. Yeah. So that is a really different market. Like, I don't think that we're A-list celebrities by any means, but what I do think is that there's the ceiling, right? If we're looking upwards, we're like, oh, the ceiling's right there. We're not there yet, but it's kind of there.
Yeah.
That's a weird level of motivation, because if you're in the UK or a bigger market, you're like, oh, I'm going to be on the Radio City, the huge lights, 12,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah.
But here it's like, what? How do you keep an artist motivated when the ceiling is just there? You know, like just that. And so we've got to go deep with each guy and go, you know, Sander, for example, is very dedicated to doing a number of years of his solo show because he has a strong motivation that he wants to bring this culture to Estonia, this stand-up, you know, what we believe is a more authentic style of doing stand-up.
Yeah.
And he's really focused on that. Other artists, you know, Ari-Matti, he's been doing amazing well here, but he's about to go to Canada for a year. And we've been working very closely here, and I'm going to keep supporting him from there. Like, even there's a new challenge for me that I can't manage him in Canada. He's in Canada, right? And it would make sense that he would get someone locally to help him locally here, but I would maybe work with that person more. I would still be advising Ari-Matti. And then even if he's like, yo, Canada's doing well. I think I'm getting somewhere, but I'm still broke as shit. I got no money, because that's typical. That's a normal situation.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, bro, come back here for a month. We're going to do a national tour. You're going to make a little money, and you can go back to Canada. You know, working even at that level. So it's so hard if you're building a group, to know, because, the market is small. For us, it's the individual challenges of each performer. What do they want to do is a real root of this. What does Sander want to do? What does Ari? What does Mika want to do? What does all of them want to do? And then how does that fit into what we do as a group?
Yeah.
That always evolves. The first thing I know is that we are thinking, 6-12 months, but 5 years, 10 years. And we're thinking about how to, if the market is this small, it's too easy to burn out. You know, we know that in Estonia, you can be someone, you've got a show or do whatever your thing is. We can pump you through the media cycle. We can have those 3 articles on Delphi. You can be on television. Everyone knows you for a minute, but then it's gone, right? You've artificially produced that up.
That's the thing you have to, you know.
Right. Now,
Our
goal, we want to be around for 10 years. My goal is I want these guys to be cashing in on their retirement tour. That's what I want from them. They're like, oh, we're going to do that Willie Nelson retirement tour, pay off the tax man or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, that we're thinking that far ahead. And how do you get there? I believe in Estonia through a very slow rise. You cannot push them any further, because the other part is if you push a young artist to a bigger stage or audience or whatever it is, so you push them too fast, they're going to be shit. Yeah. And when they're shit, everyone's going to remember that they were shit. And you can't get back from that necessarily. You might have been that guy who tried to do a big show, it was terrible, big thing, whatever it is. That's also our style. And I understand that our style is not for everybody. And there are certainly other very legitimate ways of getting ahead in the media and entertainment industry that are totally cool, but totally not for us.
Yeah. But like, have you had that kind of experience where, you know, you have a comedian and he, you know, suddenly he's like, everyone knows him, is like so successful. And then like, you know, from there he starts falling down. Like, what do you do? Have you had this kind of experience, first of all?
Not to a big degree, I think, because the group is very enforcing. I don't want to say it's very self-balancing. Is a good word for that, right? Where the power of Comedy Estonia is our group. That stand-up comedians are inherently individuals, of course, but I understood from the beginning that the only way we're going to make it is that if we all work together. Because 8 years ago, what have we got? Foreigners and some idiot young people, like 22-year-olds, some guy called Sander, some guy called Carl. Who are these idiots, right? No one knows them. The only way we could get somewhere was by working together as a group. And we don't always have to agree, but we can be professional, we can be nice, we can work together on agreed goals. And when we all kind of face the same way, and we fucking get places. Yeah. So that group culture is very important to us, because also we love comedy. We listen to the podcast endlessly. We're all huge comedy nerds. Yeah. And so we're listening to our heroes overseas who are like, dude, you're going to have to grind away for 20 years. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to do this. Like, listening to how it really is to be in a big market. Yeah. So we're getting those fundamentals, and those listening to how our heroes do it helps keep us grounded and to know that, okay, you're pushing a bit too fast there. Just chill out. 6 months later won't make a difference. So has someone blown up and they've gone down? Not really, I think, but through very precise thought. Like, we're very... Like, this isn't a random accident.
Yeah.
We've worked towards having a group like this.
But like, let's say that, a person isn't like involved with Comedy Estonia. He's just, a random person, does something, puts it out, gets viral. He has his like 15 minutes of fame, whatever. And then he starts, crashing down and he's feeling low. Like, what do you think that person should do? I mean, obviously he's talented, he's done something right, but like, how does he keep that influence? Like,
okay. I think, okay, so you do something, you're working, and then there's a bit of a boost.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do? I think that you... Okay, the first part is, who do you want to be as an artist first? You have to come back to who are you? And the better you understand who you are, the simpler these choices make. And I was thinking today about what's the name from the Proviabielu, what's her name? Helen. Right, Helen, right? What the fuck is going on with this chick? She's pregnant, fucking color's out the door, and she's riding her, getting her 15 minutes. And you know what I say to you, Helen? Fucking ride on. Ride your 15 minutes. Now, that's not a career for me.
Yeah.
That's not a career for anyone to do with stand-up comedy. But she's decided, okay, so she's on that, and she's like, well, fuck it, I'm going to let Calva knock me up, and then I'm going to go for it. I'm going to ride that 15 minutes. So she's made a decision for her career based off her own values. Now, if those are her values, they're not my values. But if that's her, cool. Yeah. Do that. That is a legit... That's a legit career path for you. This is why Comedy Estonia, we only do our own thing because we know who we want to be, stand-up comedians. Yeah. And we want to be stand-up comedians that are respected internationally. Like, our kind of guideline is, if we tell our comedy buddies overseas about our stuff, do they think like, yeah, that sounds legit. That sounds like a legit way to do comedy and a legit process. That's kind of our end goal with that. By knowing that helps influence our choices so much. We look at an event, an opportunity, something is happening and go, does that sound like us? So because we know so well who we are as a group, choices become much easier. And then we can say, oh, we want to do that. How does Comedy Estonia do that? Well, here are the key elements of our style. Anyway, we take the key elements of our style. How would that apply to that new project? Cool, let's do it. And you can do that on a group level or even as a person, which is what Helen has done. So, yeah, sure. Look, I get it. Ride the wave, honey. Like, if that's what you want to do. So,
do you think like there's a lot of artists, like independent artists in Estonia? Like, do you think they need someone to help them out, or are they,
I'm inherently biased to think yes. Because my job is, hey, do you think your job is needed? Yeah, it turns out I do. Yeah.
But
I do get you. We had a lot of pushback in the beginning because I always wanted us to be, well, in those first early days when Dylan first came was years ago. And I first started to understand what professional management is from just seeing it from his manager. And I was like, we need to do that. We need to be like that. And so then I started to treat the guys like that. And then, so people would call us up like, hey, we're interested in Sander. Can we get Sander's phone number? Very common, normal way of making an inquiry in Estonia for someone, right? Yeah. And we were like, oh, cool. Thank you for contacting. If you'd like to tell us about your opportunity, we represent Sander in his artistic stuff, and we will talk to him and communicate, and we'll come back to you. Yeah. And then nothing. And to those, because they were like, some people get angry at the beginning, like, who the fuck are you? We're like, no, we're not trying to be arrogant. We're just trying to play the role, a little bit fake it till you make it. Play the role now until we, so now, because we did that back then, now that things are getting serious, we've already got our procedures in order. We already know what a manager is, what an artist is, because we were already doing it from the start. But there was a lot of resistance in the beginning and a lot of like, who the fuck is this peer group of people? Why is this nobody got a manager? What level of arrogance must this be? Yeah. This nobody kid has a manager talking for him. Particularly this foreigner who can't speak. What the fuck is this, right? Do I think so? Yes, because you need the guidance. You need the freedom to be able to produce your art and that's not to say that you are hands off. That's not to say that I just sit in my studio. No, you need to still plan your career.
Yeah.
You still have your goals. You're still working towards that. But the manager helps guide you, helps give you structure, says, I think this is achievable. I think, you've got where you want to be. Here's how I think we can do this. And then the artist says, cool, I like that idea. Or that plan doesn't fit with how I am. No, let's not do it. Or, I can't be with you, or here's my modifications of the plan. So you need that structure around you.
Yeah.
I think once you get to a certain level, but finding that person, what if you're a young artist and you, like, how do you, look, I don't know how to do this. Well, because we grew up together, which is what's helped us. So with the core group of guys, Sander, Ari, Carl, Ardo, Mikael, Daniel, Rauno, these guys, as they've evolved, I've evolved as a manager. So
and you grow together.
We've grown up together, right? We're like a group of friends who've grown up together, but artistically. So that's how we kind of know each other. And now I have a new challenge, which is we have so many new people who want to come along and try open mic, and which is great.
Yeah.
Some of them are doing very well. The group is so large. I don't have a time to sit every Saturday night to have a beer with that person because there's so many people, but I still want to be part of their lives. I still want to know what's happening with them. They probably, I don't know how they view me, but they go, he's the guy in charge of Comedy Estonia. He's, I don't know how they view me, but it's not the same relationship. And I have to learn as a leader to evolve and adapt to that and make sure that we still keep who we are, but now it's a new phase. But if you're a young person and you want that, I guess look for that person in your life maybe. Like it doesn't have to be like, I get signed to a label or I was signed to an agency because you may well be, that very small fish. Maybe in Estonia, all you need is a motivated friend that you can work very closely with, that's a bit more organized, a bit more structured, and is willing to take that journey with you to grow as you grow in that position. And that can be a very powerful, double act there.
Yeah, but we're kind of running out of time. But like, I want to ask you this. You're 38 now. I'm 21. 21, what would you say to your, 21-year-old self right now?
Oh my God! Stop eating KFC. Stop.
We don't even have KFC in Estonia.
Yeah, I know. No, that's why. That's why I could get fit in this country. There's no KFC. There's no KFC to tempt me. Until I was 25, I was like 105 kilograms.
Seriously?
So the first thing I'd be like, fucking go to the gym, you fat prick. Would be the first thing I would say to myself. God, what would I do? Because that comes back to, I was talking earlier. Do I regret doing IT until 25 years? And I don't have an answer for you. Should I have changed? I don't know. Just do is the advice I have. Do it. I'll give you an example with Daniel. Daniel Weinbergs, he's just done his first solo hour. He's a young guy. He's put his first hour together. It's a big moment for a comedian.
Yeah, true.
He's done a couple of shows. This was very nice. And Daniel would come to me and say, I'm going to make some videos to be online. And he would say, but can you help me out? I'm going to need a camera. I need a couple of costumes and maybe a light. And I'm like, Daniel, okay, good idea. Take your idea. I bet there's a core in your idea that you can do today. I bet you your idea doesn't need a costume, a particular light. I bet you can do it with just a camera and you. Go. Like, don't wait around to make it a bit better. Just do it today. And I would, for a couple of weeks, I was just yelling at him like a drill sergeant. Make a video today. I don't care. Just make it today with whatever you've got.
Yeah.
Do it today with whatever you've got. Don't sit around because you're like, if only I can get that next bit of equipment or that help or that thing or that. Just, I bet you your idea has a core that in 2018 with the technology and the things that I bet you can do it today. And do it today is my advice to young people. And do it until it doesn't make sense anymore, and then do something else. Yeah,
well, we have this kind of like ending where a guest like says a challenge to the people, viewing, listening, just a challenge where you say to them like, what do you want them to do? But I think you said it like,
maybe that's
really,
it. That's the core.
Yeah,
Find whatever that thing you've been putting off, going, what's the core? And that's why I'm always asking why. Intent. When I was like, Daniel, okay, you need some lights. What's your intent? He started to explain to me the concept, and I was like, dude, you can just. I think he ended up doing it just with audio, even. Like how stripped back that could be.
Yeah.
Because like with anything, you've got to do a podcast or a video, whatever. You've got to do 100 times before you get anywhere with it.
Yeah.
So don't fuck around like, oh, it's got to be perfect. No, just make 100 shitty ones first.
Yeah, but that's Lewis's like, I'd say a challenge.
Yeah. Find the core of what you want to do, because I bet you the core is achievable in a much shorter amount of time.
Even if you don't really need anything. I mean, if you want to do video, just take out your
record
your phone,
into it. Yeah,
take out your phone.
Put a shitty thing like with Artie and Mikhail did. It doesn't have to have high production.
Yeah.
In fact, we don't want high production value these days.
The market will decide whether or not they like it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think on that note,
cool.
We're gonna finish this. Thanks again. It was really great having you here. I enjoyed that so much. So thanks for being here again. And I'll see you guys on the next episode. So yeah, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I guess it's just thank you for showing me light.